First case study, Wade, aged 47. This client's presenting concerns are relationship loss and grief, and the inability to move on. Wade was in a relationship for 12 years, which ended 3 years ago. Wade's ex-girlfriend has moved on and is getting married, but Wade still harbors hopes that she will come back to him despite the fact that she is getting married. He also says that he is constantly comparing his ex-girlfriend to someone he's in a relationship with right now, and appreciates the fact that he will need to resolve these issues of his emotion, or resolve the emotions that he harbors for his ex-girlfriend before he can move on with his life. Wade is one of the goals that we could explore is exploring his unresolved emotions for his ex-girlfriend, and also the issues that surrounding the separation, and also its effect on his current life and his relationship with Tracy, who is his current partner. Okay, I think Wade will be very responsive to counseling, simply because Wade has referred himself. He also has a level of awareness that he does have unresolved issues, and one of the things that he requested was to be able to work on the unresolved issues that he harbors for his ex-girlfriend. I think considering the responsiveness to change using person-centered therapy would be it would definitely benefit this client, simply because once again it will person-centered therapy will create an atmosphere where he is able to feel safe. He is not being judged for airing his emotion, and he will actually be able to use this situation to explore his own feelings and maybe become to a level of self-actualization, so that he can manage and modify his behaviors if required. It also allows him a safe space where he will be able to discuss what it is that is holding him back from moving along without being judged, and if he has a good rapport with his counselor, he'll trust them enough to be able to talk to them about these issues. Using Gestalt approach with this client, I think also will be beneficial, simply because the Gestalt focuses on the here and now. So he has said that he has got concerns where he compares his ex-girlfriend to his current girlfriend. So maybe talk about he uses this method to talk about what it is, once again, that he is comparing with his current and his ex-girlfriend, what it is that's holding him back, so he's able to work on what he needs to do now in order to resolve these issues. The limitations for using person-centered or Gestalt therapy with this client is the fact that it's a very non-directive therapy. So if he does want to move on, there may not be enough tools to direct him forward. The other thing is, because there isn't any theory to it, there might be some existing trauma from his past that the therapy may not touch on, and he may not be able to work on through this mode. The techniques and processes that I think would be most appropriate, once again, would be person-centered therapy, because it creates a strong and safe environment for this client to be able to speak, to be able to air his emotions, to be able to examine them freely. And I think he will actually get some benefit from it, because he already has a level of awareness. So maybe just having the space to explore this further will create an atmosphere for him to be able to manage and modify his behaviors. I think the technique and processes that I would be most comfortable using with this client, once again, would be person-centered therapy, simply because I think it is very important for this client to feel that he has a very strong rapport with his counselor in order for him to be able to examine and explore his unresolved issues. And person-centered therapy definitely offers that. Also, Gestalt, I think I'll be quite comfortable using Gestalt with this client that is using the empty chair technique, because he does have unresolved issues with his ex-girlfriend, and maybe using the empty chair technique so that he could sit and talk to her and find out what it is that has stopped him from moving along. So if he has some sort of closure from maybe talking to her through the empty chair technique, he will be able to move on. The next person that we have, next case study that we have is Pamela, age 20. So Pamela is presenting with concerns of binge drinking and financial hardship. And one of the counseling goals that she has stated that she would like to look at is clarity. Now, Pamela has decided that she needs to explore looking at exotic dancing in order to pay her bills, as a way of paying her bills. So she's but then there's a part of her that feels uneasy about it. So once again, one of the goals that she would be looking at is clarity as to whether she is comfortable doing the exotic dancing or not. But also the other goal might be just talking about what it is that's causing her to drink excessively and that is leading to her financial hardship. I think she will be quite responsive, simply because she has come in looking for a certain clarity. She's looking for clarification. She's looking for a sounding board and a space where she can air her thoughts and her concerns. Considering her responsiveness to change and presenting concerns and likely goals, I think once again person-centered therapy would be very beneficial for this client, simply because she is looking for a safe space. She is looking for a place where she is not judged. She's looking for a place where she's looking for a person that she can be herself with, who's genuine in their response, so that they can actually so that she can actually air her concerns and maybe get some feedback, but in the right sense, so that she's not judged, so that she is not threatened in any way, so that she's not actually worried about what she says, so that she can have a space where she can do that. I think Gestalt will also benefit this client. Once again, I think the empty chair technique might be a very good method to use with this client, simply because this concern that she has about the exotic dancing obviously comes from within, and the need to actually do the exotic dancing comes from within. So she might be able to explore these two options and talk about what it is that is holding her back, what it is that is causing the concern, what it is that she's not feeling comfortable with. The limitations for using person-centered or Gestalt approach with this client is the fact that Gestalt, once again, and person-centered therapy both focus on the here and now. So it doesn't actually take into account the factors that could lead to her binge drinking, her financial hardship. And she also did mention that she spends a lot of time on the computer chatting. So what it is that's causing her to go into the cyber world. So whether there's any existing trauma from the past, or there are concerns that come from her past, because she is very young as well. So what it is that's causing her to hide away using binge drinking or the cyber world chatting. Maybe it doesn't actually it doesn't allow too much of that. It doesn't allow a space for her to explore that further if she doesn't actually want to talk about it. And there's no sound method where we can actually take her back and bring her attention to that. The techniques and processes that I think would be most appropriate with this client, once again for me, it would be person-centered therapy. I think once again she does need a safe space. She needs a space where she can talk about and explore her feelings, so that she can have some amount of healing and personal growth. And also the Gestalt therapy would be a good place for her to view her behavior in the here and now, see what she is doing here and now. And also once she's aware of it, and once there is a level of self-actualization, for her to be able to modify and manage her behaviors. And once she has more knowledge of how it is affecting her life. I think once again the technique that I would be most comfortable with would be the person-centered therapy, to be able to create that safe space for her, to be able to build that rapport with Pamela, so that she has someone that she can trust, someone that she can talk to without the fear of judgment, someone who was there genuinely in that that relationship with her, so that she has that space to be able to talk, to be able to air her feelings, to be able to examine what is going on in her life without the fear of repercussion or judgment. And I think, once again, if there is a possibility of being able to use the empty chair technique to be able to understand what it is that is making her feel uneasy about doing this dancing, she could use that to talk to herself. So one part of her could be the part that is uneasy about it. The other part of using could be the part of her that is actually wanting to do the dancing, and find out where the conflict is and resolve that issue for herself, because that is actually what she wanted from counseling. The last case study that we are doing is Gareth, aged 42, and his presenting concerns are his relationship, once again, with his children and his ex-wife. And I think the counseling goals for him would be for him to explore what it is that is causing his children to be anxious about the fact that that he is moving back, because the children, he stated that the children have become more distant, and they have become more more wary of him, since he said to them that he is giving up his interstate job and is moving back close to them, and he is blaming his ex-wife. So for the goals might be for him to look at what it is that's causing that his children to be so wary of him, to be so worried about him moving back, but also look at why he's blaming his ex-wife, and look at strategies as to building a better relationship with his children, but also with his ex-wife, because his ex-wife is also part of the equation in order for him to enjoy a comfortable relationship with his children. I think once again he will be quite responsive, because he is self-referred, and he is looking for ways that he's there to talk about what it is that's causing the children to be distant from him. So he's looking for a way to actually try and sort that out to a certain extent. I think person-centered therapy, once again, would benefit this client, because it creates that space where he can air his concerns. He can talk about what it is that he is worried about, or he can talk about what he thinks is causing the distance between him and his children, and he can talk about strategies that he wishes to employ without the fear of repercussion, without the fear of judgment. And he can actually have someone who's genuine in there saying, actually, I don't think that might work, or why do you think this is a good why do you think it'll work, or someone who asks the right questions. I think Gestalt therapy, once again, might benefit this client, because if he maybe talks about it concentrates on the here and now, so he obviously can't do anything about the way, if he does think it's his ex-wife that's influencing the children, he can't do anything about it. He needs to actually work with what he can control, so it helps him focus on what's happening right now. Limitations, once again, it's a very person-centered therapy is quite non-directive, and so is Gestalt. So if he is determined to blame somebody, an external source, for the concerns that he is for the concerns that he shares, for the relationship that he has with his children, if he's willing to put the blame on someone else, it's going to be quite hard for him to direct him away from that and bring him back to actually looking at himself without being quite confrontational. I think the techniques that would be most appropriate for this client would be, once again, person-centered therapy and Gestalt, because both will actually create that rapport for him, create that environment where he has a rapport with someone who is genuine, someone who is actually concerned about what's going on in his life, and not someone who's actually telling him what he wants to hear, but what he needs to hear. And also the other thing is, with Gestalt, he might be able to actually examine the situation for what it is, what his role in it is, as opposed to blaming it on someone else. I think the techniques that I would be most comfortable with would be, once again, being genuine, being open in this this relationship with the client, and being non-judgmental, because it isn't a place where he needs to come and be judged. and also it's using Gestalt, the exaggeration, maybe exaggerate and keep blaming his ex-wife until he actually finds out what it is that's causing him to blame his ex-wife, or maybe even talk about what it was in the first place that caused that separation between him and his children, what was his relationship like. So using Gestalt to do those things with exaggeration. Yeah, I think these processes I would be most comfortable with using, so that I can build that rapport and actually help the client get some clarity, and maybe even implement some strategies to build a better relationship with his children.